Thank you for staying with us. This is something that many viewers will find very interesting. And we find it interesting in the studio as well. We're going to focus our attention now on the Lagos vehicle inspection exercise. You know those people who stop you on the roads in their white tops?
There are quite a number of them.
They're actually called VIO.
Okay, that one. Because there are quite a number of them. There are those in blue, there are those in white and black, yellow and red, yellow and black stripes. There are those in...
Their vehicle is yellow and black.
Their vehicle is yellow and black. And then their uniform? We'll find out later.
It's a white top.
Yeah, white top.
Yes. But we've been told that they have no right to stop us on the road.
Maybe they have a left.
That they should be in the center.
How will you know?
That is where they should be inspecting our vehicles.
How will you know you inspect
Anyway,
vehicle?
look, their boss is here, so don't let me speak out of turn before they'll be told to stop me on the road now when I go out. The Director of Vehicle Inspection Service, Mr. Akin George Fashola. Good morning.
Good morning, madam.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Good. We hear that the Lagos State government has announced a new format for vehicle inspections.
Yes.
Please, what was the format before and what is the new format?
Thank you very much. Good morning again. It's not a new format.
Okay.
The process is still the same.
Okay. The vehicle has to show.
What we are saying now is we are no longer prepared to give you a roadworthiness certificate until we inspect the vehicle in which you are asking the certificate for.
Were you giving before? You saw the vehicle before?
What we were doing before was issuing the certificate in lieu of you bringing it voluntarily.
So if I now brought the vehicle and the vehicle was not roadworthy, what would happen to the certificate you've already given me?
No. Okay, so that's where the clarification comes into play.
Okay.
So if you already have a certificate, I'm not asking you to come, or we are not asking you to come.
How did I get it in the first place without having my vehicle inspected?
Well, we were expecting you to bring your vehicle within a time period for inspection due to the business of residents in Lagos. That was what we were expecting. Well, it didn't turn out that way. And once people got the certificate, they just went about their daily business.
Understandably.
So you trusted us that we would
bring the vehicles, but you did not. And so we changed that rhetoric in that I am no longer giving you the certificate
until I have seen your vehicle.
I want to see the vehicle.
Okay. So how will you know whether or not I have the certificate if my car is on the road and I do not come to your office?
Okay. That's an excellent question. This is one of the reasons Mr. Governor has been investing over the past couple of years in technology. So we have a database of all registered cars in Lagos. We also have a database of vehicles that we've issued roadworthiness certificate to before. And we track that. We send out text messages to vehicle owners on a yearly basis.
Sometimes.
No, all the time. There could be network issues.
Mr. Fashola,
yes.
I'll let you make your point, and I'll tell you my own case, not somebody else's.
Okay, so we do it on a yearly basis for private citizens and on a 6-month basis on commercial activities. Now, your own case, I would like to hear, because we do send out the messages.
No, we'll come to that. But what happens if I do not bring my vehicle and I do not have a certificate?
Okay, so it's two things. If you don't bring the vehicle and you don't have a certificate, that's quite all right, so long as you park the vehicle in your house and don't drive it on Lagos State roads. That's not a conflict of interest. Okay, so what we are saying is for you to ply Lagos State roads, at any given time, you must have that certificate. And if you are caught, it's an instant fine.
Okay.
So if how much does that certificate cost?
No, just a second. Okay. If you catch me,
yes,
who is going to catch me? You're not supposed to be on the road.
Who said that? That's a misconception.
Okay.
Okay, so vehicle inspection officers can be and will be on the road, not in the aspect in which you think. We've redesigned our process and our procedures. So when you see them on the road now, they are looking for specific individuals, specific vehicles Gone are the days where we look for random, just stop people at random. We've moved away from that. We let the technology do the work. So this is part of the exercise that will allow the technology to even work better. Because if I have a database of all the people that have done their inspection, all I need to do is just scan the vehicles that go through the road. I will pick you out if you haven't done. I can tell by your license plate. I can tell instantaneously. It's a live system. It's always on. That's why the cameras are there. You pass in front of a camera. It reads your license plate. It can tell instantly whether you have the certificate or not, or whether you have even come for inspection or not.
So is that camera on your vehicle?
It's on vehicles. It's at dedicated spots.
Okay.
It's even on handheld devices that officers carry around.
Okay, so they catch me and I get fined. So Alera's question comes to play now. What?
Yes, my experience.
No. How much?
Oh, how much does it cost now?
To do what?
To get the vehicle.
There are different categories. The roadworthiness certificate.
Roadworthiness.
Well,
yes.
they're based on the category of cars.
An SUV.
SUV, off the top of my head, I think it's about 6,000 naira. Off the top of my head.
Saloon,
a saloon.
A saloon car.
A saloon, they have different engine sizes. Okay, so that's also based on the engine capacity.
2 liter.
2 liter, I think it's about 4,800, thereabouts.
Okay. I was stopped at Ilukweju.
Yes.
The curve at Ilukweju.
I know the place, Shoreditch Garden.
And I was told that there was some ticket on my car because I had renewed my vehicle, my roadworthiness for 2019.
Yes.
Late. It had expired before I went to renew it, maybe a month later or something.
Okay.
But I was carrying a current roadworthiness certificate.
Okay.
I had the current one. I was not in breach of any law or rule in Lagos State. They said, no, it's not this one we're talking about. It's the last one. And every year, to get my vehicle thing, I drive my car to the Bagada place and have my car inspected and my certificate issued.
Yes.
So I was in breach, but I went to have my car inspected and the license was issued to me in 2020. Meanwhile, I had a ticket from 2019.
And you were stopped on the road.
And I was told that a text was sent to me, and I said I did not receive any text.
Okay. That's a fair question. Okay, so I'll answer you holistically.
Please.
In 2018, Lagos State government launched the AMPR, the cameras that we're talking about, in order to ease the enforcement that we do on the road, let the machine do the work, majority of it anyway. So I think a lot of residents kind of ushered it aside. I've heard that rhetoric before. They're not serious. It's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, a lot of cars got...
It worked.
A lot of cars got caught in that bracket. Now, if you offend, the offense doesn't go away. It stays on the system for however long it's there permanently. It can't go away.
Yes.
So whether it's 2019 offended and I see you in 2025, I will still try to execute that
Mr.
offense.
Fashola, my grouse is...
Yes.
You purport that you sent me a text about an infraction.
Okay, yes.
I came to you without knowing about this infraction to renew my vehicle papers.
Absolutely.
And you go ahead and renew for me without informing me that I had a ticket on the car.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, those are the learning cycles that we have to breach in terms. Hear me out. Those are.
I'm listening.
It's a very costly learning experience.
It is.
Because you inconvenienced me.
Okay.
Made me pay 20,000 naira on the spot.
Yes.
Which I ought to have paid when I went to renew the license in 2020.
Can I answer that? Okay, so
and this thing happened in 2021, by the way.
The reason, okay, so there are reasons for most things. The reason that procedure came into play, because after deliberation with Ministry of Transport, the Commissioner, the Permanent Secretary, and then we got approval for Mr. Governor, instead of just arbitrarily, randomly stopping citizens on the road or residents on the road, all the fines that have been accumulated over the past 2-3 years or since the inception of the program, why don't we do this? if you have an outstanding fine, so I'm not doing a random check on the road. I'm not stopping every vehicle that I think, okay, might have a fine. Let us put on the system, we can't do it, and just identify that if you have an outstanding fine with Lagos State government, it'll flag up on the system, and I can identify instantly whether you have a ticket or not. That is why you were particularly stopped, because...
Let me know that I have a ticket.
Okay, so
that's my issue.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you go and do your documentation, do you do it yourself or do you send somebody?
To do my roadworthiness, I go there myself.
Okay, so it must be a situation where the system missed it. Okay, so it wasn't... hold on a second.
And I get embarrassed on the road because your system isn't working.
No, it is.
I should sue you.
I'll agree.
We can look into that. We can look into that. Look, it's sometimes you redefine a process, a procedure that's not working before. You rejig it, you retweak it to make it more convenient. Now, it caused you an embarrassment. I apologize for that, but the intention was not to cause you an embarrassment. It was to streamline the cry from the citizens that officers were stopping vehicles at random, which we don't do anymore. We stop you for a specific reason, and then we explain to you. Now, that process in the past had, flaws and maybe minor miscalculations in it. We've corrected that, and we will continue to correct it. It's an evolving process. You can't get around it.
Okay, Mr. Fashola.
Yes.
We see a lot of vehicles on the road.
Absolutely.
Trucks, danfos, no tail lights, nothing. The back screen, the back shield is broken. They put nylon on it. And yet they're plying the streets of Lagos. And I say, my SUV looks like it is 3 years old. They're going to stop me and ask me for my roadworthiness. But this guy who doesn't have any tail lights at all and is plying the road at night gets by somehow. How does that happen?
Okay. That's an assumption. And I want to correct that assumption.
What is my assumption, please?
That we don't do anything about it.
Why is he still on the road?
Hold on a second. The way you see or you think that we should apprehend commercial vehicles, I assume that's what you're talking about, is not the way...
It may not be commercial.
Oh, the way you think that we should apprehend them is not the way we apprehend them. Okay, for various reasons. There's security concerns, there's safety on the road concerns. A lot of them don't have an attitude of care or respect, and they were ready to do anything if you
ready to fight.
If you apprehend them then and there. I would rather not cause bigger mayhem in order to stop small mayhem. We know where we catch them. If you come to our yards, we catch them on a regular basis. We know where we get them. As a matter of fact, we've just done a compilation of the ones that we are going to crush. We are going to dismember all these vehicles that you're talking about. Now, this new exercise, it's not a new exercise, this new process, this new procedure that we are implementing will also give us the leverage to be able to better identify who has done the proper procedure that Lagos State government is advocating on the road.
Well, someone is just asking that same question right now.
Yes.
Wow.
About, it's on Twitter, Shade A. He's talking about, this same thing, asking, commercial buses, trucks, trailers exempted?
No one's exempted.
Obviously not.
Absolutely not.
But just as you said, it's an assumption.
It's an assumption.
Because when we see them on the road, it looks like, wait a minute.
Hold on, you will see them because there are just that many. There are more than you think.
Okay.
And we have to do it progressively and in a safe and sanctioned manner where it doesn't cause more mayhem than they ought to.
But there are so many.
That's my point. There are many. So the assumption is that we don't do anything about it. And that's not correct.
For as long as they are on the roads, that's the assumption. How does the VIS correct that assumption?
So some of the measures that we have in place is to go and accost them in their parks, their garages, where they load passengers. We do it on a daily basis. My officers accost them. We impound as much as per zone. Okay, we have 45 zones. If I give you an estimate, we have 45 zones. We take about 4 or 5 a day just apprehending them. They are very, very notorious, very difficult, and we have to be mindful of the fact that we are also dealing with sometimes loaded buses that have passengers in it, and you need to be conscious of all those aspects.
Okay. Now, can you speak to, and I'm pretty sure that you've been aware of them, chaotic scenes at various vehicle inspection centers across the state?
Thank you very much. That's a wonderful question. Okay, so this particular new process, it's not a new process. We're asking something new. Okay, it started in January, and we've been advertising, we've been talking to stakeholders, we've been telling people that come January 1st, Lagos State government is no longer going to issue you a roadworthiness certificate in lieu of you bringing a car. No, we want to see the car first, and then we will give you the certificate once we are satisfied you meet the minimum safety standard. Now, I think a lot of people are not used to that type of procedure or process, and they are afraid of the fact that maybe, okay, I'm going to get a ticket, or my vehicle is going to get impounded, so they crime the centers. So another aspect is, even with the awareness that we are doing and we will continue to do, a lot of people are not aware that we have different other centers around the state that they can go to. Okay, so if I give you numbers in terms of general overview, Vehicle Inspection Services has a capacity for about 2,600 vehicles to be inspected in a day. I can inspect that many in a day currently.
Okay.
We're doing how many again, sorry?
2,600.
In a day?
In a day. We have the capacity to do
that. At each center or
no,
all across?
Across board.
Okay, all 45?
No. We have 26 centers right now.
Okay.
We have 45 zones.
Okay.
Clarification. So 26 centers, and I have a capacity to do 2,600 vehicles a day. I'm doing about 1,500, 1,600, depending on any given day. I still have capacity in the system. But the problem is, because of the nature of Lagos State, in the mornings, everybody shifts to one location mostly, and in the evenings, they shift back to one location. So what we are finding out is that critical centers in those shift areas are being inundated with just testing. And we are trying to disseminate the information that you can go to other places. That is why we will change the system come in February. Now, you would know that if you didn't start doing that. It'd just be an assumption, like people think we don't arrest commercial buses.
Oh, there's some people think that you don't arrest them. In fact, someone is, Gante is saying that it's not true that commercial vehicles are accosted. They're afraid of them. But instead, private vehicles who cannot fight them are their targets.
You
have a long way to go correcting that.
That's absolutely not true.
Please go ahead.
I understand the rhetoric, but like I said earlier, your version of us accosting commercial drivers is not reality of how we accost them. Yeah, there are different circumstances and factors that we have to consider in terms of doing that job. Now, the capacity for vehicles, so we're trying to spread it around where vehicles can go to other centers, and we will correct the situation as we go along. But for right now, I'm quite happy with the patronage that we're getting, and people are seeing a lot of people are seeing the benefits of what we're trying to do.
Okay, the same Sade says that you should please outsource the service, that your inspection services are limited. We currently spend an average of 6 hours for
That's absolutely
inspection.
not true. That's not true. I disagree with that greatly. I go around all the centers. I get feedback from the zonal heads in all the centers. That's 6 hours. It's an exaggeration. If I'm being honest with you, the test itself takes 10, 15 minutes, the test itself.
Okay.
So from coming into the gate and leaving the center, maybe you're doing an average of an hour and a half, max. And those are the critical centers. That's 6, I don't know where that 6 hours is coming
she
from.
went to.
Yeah, but
Okay,
that's just not true.
Now help us understand what exactly are you looking out for?
Okay.
So that anybody who wants to come may or has a chance to get their car in order before actually coming for the inspection?
Okay, that's a good question too. So let me justify that with numbers. Right now, we've tested over 20,000 vehicles from January till now. Over 20,000. 16,000 have passed, and we've issued them certificates. 4,000 have failed. So what are we? Yes, 4,000 have failed.
That's a large number.
Yeah, well,
25%.
It'll be
Almost.
because some people don't pay attention. So what are we looking for? We're looking for your brake efficiencies, your brakes, your steering, your head.
Brakes meaning brake lights or
No,
brakes
the
itself?
brake itself.
The
When you
efficiency
press
of the brakes.
the efficiency of the brake.
Okay.
Minimum is 50%. You have to have it, okay, because it's a critical issue.
Brakes.
Yeah, your steering. You can turn right, turn left.
Steering.
Now.
And there's no lag.
No lag. Yeah, exactly. Your shock absorbers. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot of vehicles.
Shocks.
They drive on the road and the arm comes out and the car is broken down the road. It can't move. So we look at that.
Yeah.
Now, your side mirrors, both left and right, your headlights, it's pointing in the right direction and it's not blinding people.
Headlamps.
Your tail lights, which is the brake light, so when you step on it, someone can see it visibly from behind you.
Tail lamps.
Your trafficator, as they call it here, which is the turn
Indicator.
signal. Yeah, the indicator, left and right, it's working.
Yep.
Because you have to be able to indicate you're going left or right. Your windscreen is not cracked in any way. I'm not apologetic to the fact that saying, oh, it's just a small crack. There's no such thing as a small crack. Crack-free windscreen is the law in Lagos State. Crack-free windscreen, not a small. It's just a small crack. No,
It just happened yesterday.
Well, that's why we give you days to go and fix it. You have a 30-day window to go and fix whatever it is you want to fix.
Okay.
We're not that heartless. We take into consideration people's daily lives.
Okay.
The emissions that comes out of your tailpipe
Emissions.
is critical. We have a safety standard that we must maintain in the state. So we look at that. And then minor things, your wipers,
Wipers.
your blades, have they faded? Because if you have blades that can't wipe anything, then it's absolutely useless. You're not doing anybody any favor. So those are the things. Tires. Are they bald? Those
They
are the things
expired?
those are the things that we look for.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a quick one.
I shall read you a checklist in a moment.
Okay.
Someone is trying, Adenike Oyalo on Twitter is saying, last week, a friend tried without success to get my car checked. He was told he should have come as early as 6 a.m. I have no issue with getting cars checked, but not without the capacity which then makes life more difficult than it already is.
Okay. That's a fair question. So I told you earlier, we've seen a huge rush for whatever reason. I don't expect anybody to come there at 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. Some are even saying 4:30. Even the office is not open at 4:30, so I don't know what you're doing there, to be quite honest. But going forward, Vehicle Inspection Services is going to start issuing appointments. Because we've seen from the data, from the chaos in all centers, that we need to re-strategize on that. So it'll be going forward by appointment only. We will give you an appointment, and if you insist you want to go to a particular center, well, you will come to that particular center that you have, but you will come there on a day that it is open and available for you to do your test. And it's on a first-come, first basis.
Okay.
There are some who have alleged some things.
Okay.
You may wish to kindly
Please.
clear. One, that when they get into any of your, I almost said shops, any of your centers, that they have to pay parking fee.
It will not be in our center.
Okay.
So the correction would be, sometimes our centers are located in a local government, and in that local government, they collect a parking fee for parking inside the local government. Now, having said that, we are in dialogue with them to try and correct that issue where people that are coming for testing are not supposed to pay for parking.
Even if they're going to pay for parking, 1,500 naira is a lot, sir.
I cannot confirm that, but it is a lot. I am aware of 200, but even at that, someone coming for testing shouldn't be paying for parking, and we will try to correct and redress that issue.
Okay. Another allegation is that after the testing,
yes,
they have to pay like 1,000 naira to get the sticker.
What sticker? I'm not aware. That is
have been tested by...
That's absurd.
Something.
No.
Exactly.
Absolutely
There
not.
is a sticker, which they
roadworthiness sticker.
Okay. At Bagada, they put it on your car anyway.
That one is free. Look, hold on a second. Let's get this clarification. Whatever vehicle inspection services does for the residents of Lagos State, it is already been paid for from the roadworthiness certificate in which you paid for. There is no extra fee that is applicable on any form level that should be accepted by anybody. And if someone is presenting you with that, please report them.
Please, are you listening? Viewers in Lagos State, do not pay anything apart from the fee you have paid for your roadworthiness certificate.
So there is no extra fee anywhere.
Perhaps there is a need to reactivate your Twitter handle, sir, because the last time a tweet went out on Lagos State VIO was I think it's May 2021.
Well, you know we've been off Twitter for a while now, so we need to rejig that.
We've been back on for a few weeks.
Well, I've been inundated with work, so maybe that fault lies with me, but Twitter hasn't been my major concern as a president. We will get on that.
But you need to get on that because, I mean, be ready for, just as you said, be ready for some backlash.
I'm always ready for backlash. It's part of the job.
Okay. Yeah. May I read the checklist now?
Yes.
So before you go to have to attempt to get a roadworthiness certificate, please make sure that the following is in order. 1, brakes. 2, your steering wheel. 3, your shock absorbers. 4, your wing mirrors. 5, your headlamps. 6, your tail lamps. 7, your indicator, what we call trafficator in Nigeria. Yes. Make sure your windscreen is crack-free. Make sure your car does not have excess emissions. You know, that thing that we call Smoky Joe. Make sure your car is not smoking. Make sure your wipers are in order. And make sure your tires are neither bald nor expired. If all these are in order, then you can proceed to the center and see if you can get a roadworthiness certificate.
And if they are not in order and I go there and my car is impounded, what happens?
Your car will not be impounded. We don't impound vehicles that come for inspection.
Okay.
We merely tell you the status of your car, what you need to fix, and we give you a 30-day window to go and fix it
and come back.
Come back at no cost to you, provided you meet the 30-day window.
Okay, suppose someone lost his job within those 30 days and is unable to afford whatever it is that needs to be done.
Well, that's quite unfortunate. There's not much I can do about that. I would just suggest that the person leave the vehicle at home until they can afford to do that.
Okay, because at this point, they've already paid for the certificate.
Yes.
So it's at the point of inspecting that it is discovered. So,
oh dear.
So the money is valid for only 30 days. If you come back after 30...
Hold on. That's clarification.
Yeah.
The money is in 2 parts. Okay. One is for the certificate itself. If you're a private citizen, it's valid for 1 year. If you're a commercial entity, it's valid for 6 months.
Okay.
And then there's the inspection fee, which is inclusive of the fee that you pay. Now, the inspection is valid for 30 days. You are given 30-day window in which to come and get inspected. If you pass, we will give you a certificate. If you fail, we'll give you another 30 days to go and fix whatever it is that is wrong with the vehicle. I think what he was asking is, well, what if you can't fix it within the 30-day window?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that's quite unfortunate, but I would advise you to leave the vehicle at home because it's not valid to be on the roads of Lagos.
But your money is gone.
No, the money is there.
6 months later.
No, the money is there. You come back, and then we'll test it when you are ready to go. What I'm saying is don't drive it on Lagos State Road.
Don't drive it.
Because you will get you get issued a fine.
What if I just happened to get caught on my way to VIO office after the expiration? Sorry.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point. It's two ways. One, technically you're wrong because you shouldn't be driving a vehicle that the documents have expired. It's not an excuse. So, but then the other part is you need to be able to convince the officer if indeed you are caught in that situation. Depends on how you approach the officer. He might and might not. If he doesn't, he's well within his right not to. But most time depends on how you.
You're gonna have to retweak. You're gonna have to retweak. Come on, man. You're gonna have to. I'm on my way to your office.
But that's what you say.
Exactly.
Because I caught you.
Yes. Well, I happen to be on my way. I'm being honest.
But
you invested trust in us. I breached it the first time. Now you invest trust in me.
But that's what I said. It's a two-way. It's a two-way.
Well, there's a little. Well, it's not. This is not very funny, but maybe it is. Obafemi Ademuyiwa is saying, as well as Fatai Sulaiman, so we should ask you, who inspects VIO vehicles?
VIO.
That's their own vehicles are sometimes not roadworthy.
As a matter of fact, this morning, all vehicles for vehicle inspection services are at the yard getting inspected, getting maintained, and getting fitted with what they need. Like I said, there's a lot of assumption that goes on, but it's not true. We do our vehicles on a routine maintenance. Yes, we do. If you go to the headquarters yard now, you will see all of them there, assembled for inspection, for maintenance, and for the upkeep that the vehicle needs to get going on a daily basis.
You know, as I said earlier, Mr. Fashola, perhaps the issue is that of what people have known over time.
Well,
that's been very, very slow to correct. You know as well as I do that there's a huge trust deficit between the people and the government, you know, that leads them in a particular direction. So, which is why there is a need for services such as yours to increase people engagement, which is why I suggested this Twitter thing. Just one of them.
Absolutely.
You know, so that, because unless we find a way to re-engineer that trust quotient, every time we see a man wearing a white top with VIO inscriptions or colors, I'm a panic.
I agree with you, and I totally concur with your objectivity on this matter. And this is one of the reasons why we are working very hard in the Ministry of Transport to correct that anomaly, to showcase, to tell people, to let them see holistically what is going on. Anyone can come to any of the centers at any time. You can see for yourself. I'm not hiding anything. I'm here. If I take off this uniform today, I'm just a citizen or a resident just like anybody else. That doesn't make me special. It's a job. Okay, so if the job is to be transparent, I myself have to be transparent. And I'm telling people how it is.
Fix your cars like everybody else.
Yes, I do. I do it religiously.
Okay, somebody went to your office precisely 2 weeks ago, the one in Surah.
Yes.
And she paid a certain amount and she was issued receipt for another amount, which was 1,000 naira less than she had paid.
Well, could you get that person to get in touch with me?
Okay,
I can
if you
look
let
into
me know
that.
how to get in touch with you, she will get in touch with you.
Please do.
What are some of the issues that you have had to deal with, both within the service and outside of the service?
With customers, so to speak.
Well, it's a lot. Coming in from the inside, there's this attitude amongst the officers of neglect. But when you showcase or when you show them the proper process on how to relate to citizens, to residents, how to communicate, I think one of the biggest factors that we have inside is communication with residents. That aspect, if you look at it on, it's not I always tell my officers, it's not a personal thing. I did not wake up this morning to say I'm going to arrest you or to say I'm going to impound your vehicle. No, that's not the rhetoric. The rhetoric is always good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is. You need to be professional in your approach and you need to speak with confidence and politeness to get people to listen to what you have to say. If you can explain yourself correctly and precisely, whoever it is that you are talking to is more likely to be receptive to what you are trying to pass along, as opposed to if you are nonchalant and just like brazen in your approach. There is nobody, if you explain correctly and precisely in the right approach, they will listen to what you have to say, knowing fully well that this is not a personal thing. It's not a... Lagos State government is not Engineer Fashola's personal... It's not mine. It's a job, and you need to relate and communicate that. Now, on the other side...
Before you go to that, and I hope you don't... This is not with the intention to embarrass or anything.
No, absolutely not.
What's the welfare, how vulnerable, if I can use the term, are your officers to being corrupted?
Anybody's vulnerable to corruptibility. Okay, it's the attitude and it's the mannerism in which they approach the work that gives light to that. Now, if you're talking...
My apologies, I asked that against the backdrop of what their take-home is, like what's the welfare of the officers?
Absolutely.
So that, I mean, if I'm being well paid enough to offer me 5 naira or 10 naira will be an insult that I can't take.
Absolutely. So, but here's the thing. You can be well paid and still have the mindset of taking something from people all the time.
You're right.
It bears no relevance at all. Yeah. So officers are well paid and they are well taken care of. It is an attitudinal aspect of it. Okay, so if you want to collect money from someone, yeah, you can. Anybody can do that, right? But if you're, like I said before, if your mannerism is on a professional level and you are well versed in what it is you are doing, the less likelihood that you would want to collect something from someone where it is irrelevant, right? Because how much are you collecting? The maximum you can collect from anyone at any given time, let's just say on the road, okay, give me 1,000, give me 2,000. You can't build a house on that now.
Have you had such reports within the ranks?
No. If you collect like 50 of that every day, you're on.
No, you are on. But here's the thing. At some point in time, you will get into trouble because you can't keep collecting that kind of money from people, and there will be at least one person that will say something about it.
So have you had such experience?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll deal with them appropriately. You can't have all good eggs in one basket. There are certain elements that, and we'll deal with them with the right corrective measure. Sometimes they get dismissed. Sometimes it's just a disciplinary. It just depends on the activity. Okay. Now, likewise, I would employ residents. If you are within your rights, don't offer anybody money. For what? There is nothing any officer can do to you if you are within the ambience of the law.
Well, somebody was arrested once for too much knowing his rights.
Hold on a second.
I quote, too much knowing his rights.
Okay, so I have an issue too, because a lot of times people...
He's a lawyer, by the way.
People come to me with complaints, or somebody did this, somebody did that. Okay, fine. Even if I were to accept it, can you report the person? Can you give me a name? Can you point to that person? Oh, I don't want to be the one that...
Make him lose a job.
That is absurd. Yeah. But yet you are complaining about something you don't like. Something that is in the public domain.
Nowadays, they probably have a picture of the person anyway.
Show it to me. Bring him to me.
Social media.
I can relate though. But okay, you want to talk about the flip side, the customers the other time. What are the challenges you have with them? For
the customers?
Yeah.
One thing you said, you know, some people, especially the commercial aspect, they feel if I give him...
Everything will be okay.
Yeah, he will take care of me. Absolutely not. Okay, so it can happen. It does happen. But I'm saying with the process and procedures that we put in place, it's very highly unlikely that you will get a roadworthiness certificate if you don't bring it for that test. I want to see how you're going to do it. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I want to see what we have put in place. You will try.
Everything's on the computer now, isn't it?
Yes. and it is almost, I didn't say impossible, almost impossible to circumvent.
Well, there you are, Lagosians.
But wait, to give you a final good news, like I said, we have 26 centers that are currently on board. Okay. We're having 4 more come online before the end of this year. And
okay, where will the 4 be?
Unilag, the areas escape my head now, but 4 more will be made available. And we've just recently ordered 5 mobile centers that we can move around. We currently have one that's in VI right now. We move it from spot to spot. But we've gotten orders for 5 more.
There's one in VI. Where in VI?
Behind the Iru local government.
Iru, where's that?
Yes.
Oniru? Oniru, you mean?
Yeah, Oniru. Iru local government. Akimuri Okon last week.
Allow her to go and Google it.
Okay, all right.
So we have 5 more that are coming on board. That will be
this year.
This year. That will be this year. And we have. I lost my train.
Okay.
Mobile units.
Mobile units, yes.
Mobile
so
units. Okay.
we'll be getting that spreading across areas where we lack deficiency in terms of land and we can't get access to land and we have a huge population there. So we can move it around from place to place.
What would you be asking people to do to support what you do?
Trust in the system. It is for everybody's good. Now, Mr. Governor is investing a lot of resources, taxpayers' resources into fixing roads, road infrastructure and all. This is a small part that will lead or lend itself to less traffic, less congestion on our roads, and better environment for our people in general.
Okay. Quickly, just before we go, your checklist: brakes, steering wheel, shock absorbers, wing mirrors, headlamps, tail lights, indicator, otherwise known as trafficator, windscreen, crack-free, emissions, wipers, and your tires. Once you have all those in order, nothing to fear.
We have 2 more comments coming from.
Okay.
You see, you're very popular. You should actually contest for an election. Well, this one is from Joseph, who says, technology is to make things easier. In a case where where one is in transit from another state and you have your roadworthiness, this is just a waste of time, as commercial vehicles are more corporate and they turn their blind eye is turned on them. I hope you get that. I mean, roadworthiness from this state and, going to the others.
I get it. Okay, so let me clarify that there's absolutely no issue with having a roadworthiness from another state. You are visiting us. You come in with your valid documents. We wave to you. Have a nice day.
What if you look at it and say, no, this one doesn't have it?
If it is not valid and it has expired, you will get a fine. You get a fine across the federation. It's not just Lagos State.
Okay.
The document is valid across the federation.
Okay. This is from Stephen. With the list of what VIS checks on vehicle, did they ever put into consideration the condition of all roads in the state? When the road is not worthy of riding on, which do have negative effects on vehicles. How can vehicles pass the tests? Vehicles that ply bad roads every day will definitely wear and tear.
It's a good point, and I must say to you that with the ongoing activities in the state, we are constantly fixing road. We will constantly be fixing road. It's not a one-time issue. It is an ongoing issue that will test till the end of worlds. We will continue to fix roads. It is a mandate of the state, and we continue to do it. We are just saying, do your little part, and we will do our little part.
Otherwise, those vehicles themselves could break on the road.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Alera, there's this second one from Stephen. What's the time frame that VIS will get all commercial vehicles that are not roadworthy off the roads, or get them to meet the standards?
We'll get them gradually. Like I said before, it's
before the end of the year?
They're work in progress.
Well, Udeme, we've answered your question about what happens if, interstate. So
yes.
Okay. Director of Vehicle Inspection Service, Mr. Akin George Fashola, thank you very much for coming. That was very enlightening indeed. Yes. So anybody who goes to try and get a roadworthiness certificate without all those things being in order will have themselves to blame.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So Sunrise will return in just a moment with the
home stretch. We'll be back.
On.
We're not driving, just so you know.